So today, I'm going to be going through Flexbox Froggy. Flexbox is a modern CSS framework. I don't know that much about it, so take everything I say with, and from now on, for anything that I say, take everything I say with 3 grams of salt, a few kilograms. It's good. Okay. Learning CSS layout with Flexbox Froggy. I've created a game for
I've created a game for learning CSS Flexbox called Flexbox Froggy. The goal of the game is to help the frogs get to their lily pads by writing CSS code. See if you can beat all the levels. Flexbox Froggy takes inspiration from the classic arcade game Frogger, and web literacy games like the brilliant CSS Diner and Erase All Kittens, where you learn about CSS selectors and HTML markup respectively. I chose CSS Flexbox in part because its layout properties make for good gameplay mechanics. The game levels are similar to the Positioning Zombies activity that featured in my work with Mozilla Thimble tutorials, but using the powerful new Flexbox model instead of absolute positioning. Flexbox is also a good topic because beginners can learn this improved way of positioning right out of the gate, while many experienced web developers who aren't familiar with it yet can finally get on with it. It's something I myself have been meaning to learn for a while now. There are top-notch tutorials out there for this purpose like those by CSS Tricks, Codrops, and Scotch.io, that true interactive learning experiences. If you spot any bugs or have ideas for new levels, please open an issue on GitHub.
Cool. Let's play.
Welcome to Flexbox Froggy, a game where you help Froggy and friends by writing CSS code. Guide this frog to the lily pad on your right by using the justify content property, which aligns items horizontally and accepts the following values. Flex start, items aligned to the left side of the container. Flex end, items aligned to the right side of the container. Center, items align at the center of the container. Space between, items display with equal spacing between them. Space around, items display with equal spacing around them. For example, justify content, flex end, will move the frog to the right. Use justify content again to help these frogs get to their lily pads. Remember that the CSS property aligns items horizontally and accepts the following values. Flex start, items aligned to the left side of the container. Flex end, items aligned to the right side of the container. Center, items align at the center of the container. Space between, items display with equal spacing between them. Space around, items display with equal spacing around them.
Pond. What? But they're on the lily pads. Bugs. Find bugs. One moment. I'm doing that later. Okay. We'll do it live. No, just kidding. I can't show that. Sorry. Okay. Just 1, 2, 4. flex and your lily pads. By using justified content, this time the lily pads have lots of space between them, around them. If you find yourself forgetting the possible values for a property, you can hover over the property name to view them. Yeah, that's pretty cute. Okay, let's try. Space between, for sure. Are you sure? Space around. You know what? I feel like there's this lag, between if you hit it too fast. We'll try it again. You know what I need? I need to figure out Vimium's visual text selection. That'd be really handy, because then I could...
Now the lily pads on the edges have drifted to the shore, increasing the space between them. Use justify content. This time, the lily pads have equal space in between them.
Between sounds pretty, giveaway. Space between... What's the difference between that? This time, the lily pads have equal space in between them. Get it? Yeah, that seemed good. Let's go back a couple of this. Oh, there's some space around. Okay. Space between. Okay.
Now use align items to help the frogs get to the bottom of the pond. The CSS property aligns items vertically and accepts the following values. Flex start, items aligned to the top of the container. Flex end, items aligned to the bottom of the container. Center, items align at the vertical center of the container. Baseline, items display at the baseline of the container. Stretch, items are stretched to fit the container.
Okay. Line items, center, justify, content, center, what's up?
The frogs need to cross the pond again, this time for some lily pads with plenty of space around them, using a combination of justify content and align items.
Align items, flex, and justify content looks like around. Says there. So is it space around? Space around.
The frogs need to get in the same order as their lily pads using flex direction. The CSS property defines the direction items are placed in the container, and accepts the following values. Row, items are placed the same as the text direction. Row reverse, items are placed opposite to the text direction. Column, items are placed top to bottom. Column reverse, items are placed bottom to top.
Looks like we want a row reverse direction. Row reverse. And we want column reverse, I think.
Help the frogs find their column of lily pads using flex direction. The CSS property defines the direction items are placed in the container and accepts the following values.
Help the frogs get down to their own lily pads. Get off my lily pad, yo! Oh, and justify content. Okay. Flex direction. Reverse. And then also justify content. Flex. Oh, that's flex in. Interesting.
Help the frogs find their lily pads using flex direction and justify content. Notice that when the flex direction is a column, justify content changes to the vertical and align items to the horizontal.
Help the frogs. Flog the frogs. No. No. Don't do that, PETA. PETA would get on us. Is it PETA? Animal, superhero people. Help the frogs find their lily pads using flex direction and justify content. That sounds great. Flex direction, column. Justify content. Wow, man, this is a lot easier than all the crazy footage you have to do with moving stuff in columns and aligning things that I've seen before. This is really neat. Justify content, flex, and maybe. Cool. Help the frogs. Direction. Column. Reverse. And then justify. Row. Center maybe. No, not center. Space around or space between. Wow. Help the frogs find their lily pads using flex direction, row, reverse, justify content, flex in, center, and then align items, flex in. Order.
Sometimes reversing the row or column order of a container is not enough. In these cases, we can apply the order property to individual items. By default, items have a value of 0, but we can use this property to set it to a positive or negative integer value. Use the order property to reorder the frogs according to their lily pads.
Time out. Alright. Zoom. Oh. Okay, so zen. Sometimes reversing because they're just one off. So it's like they want to be shifted more. What's that? Nope. Let's try sweet. What? So just super negative. That's it. No. That's good. 0. Let's do what? Order. Oh, don't get it. Do not understand. Oh, dot red. Oh. I bet you could set the order for every single one. That's cool. That's really handy. I like this order property. Yellow. What's up, yellow?
Another property you can apply to individual items is align self. This property accepts the same values as align items and its value for the specific item.
Okay. Next hand. Ooh, diggity. Yellow. Okay, order. Actually, let's first do self flex in, and then order. I'm not really sure how this. Okay, -1 means it goes from so sort left to right, probably top to down to bottom, with negative stuff being on the left or top, and more positive things. Sneeze. Excuse me. Great. So doesn't matter. We can do that. Oh no!
Oh no! The frogs are all squeezed onto a single row of lily pads. Spread them out using the flex wrap property, which accepts the following values. Now wrap. Every item is fit to a single line. Wrap. Items wrap around 2 additional lines. Wrap reverse. Items wrap around 2 additional lines in reverse.
Warp. Dang! CSS wizard!
The two properties flex direction and flex wrap are used so often together that the shorthand property flex flow was created to combine them. The shorthand property accepts the value of one of the two properties separated by a space. For example, you can use flex flow, row wrap to set rows and wrap them. Try using flex flow to repeat the previous level. The frogs are spread all over the pond, but the lily pads are bunched at the top. You can use align content to set how multiple lines are spaced apart from each other. This property takes the following values. Flex start, lines are backed at the top of the container. Flex end, lines are backed at the bottom of the container. Center, lines are backed at the vertical center of the container. Space between, lines display with equal spacing between them. Space around, lines display with equal spacing around them. Stretch, lines are stretched to fit the container. This can be confusing, but align content determines the spacing between lines, while align items determines how the items as a whole are aligned within the container. When there is only one line, align content has no effect.
Flex Froggy. So we're doing column. So we don't do column. We need to reverse these. All the little froggies! All the little froggies! Okay. Alright, that's it for today.